to try out about 4 people in your life. And that's it. Well, because if you think that fertility window, let's say it's in trouble by the age of 30. So you've really got, by the time you have a bit of a brain, so let's say 19, you've got 11 years.
Right.
Okay, so how many people can you get to know to evaluate for long-term mating suitability in 11 years? Well, 5's a lot, I would say.
Yeah, because I mean, if you ain't found a mate by 30, give it up. Come on, let's be real, give it up. There's no point. 30 ain't found your fucking life partner by then. You fucking dog shit. Just give it up. Just buy some cats. Just buy a whole ton of cats and like acclimate yourself to the fucking sad fact that you're gonna die alone.
Almost all sexual assault, especially the date types, but even the more violent types, almost all spousal abuse, all of that would disappear if alcohol disappeared. This is a conversation nobody will have about campuses, because part of the problem on campuses is that young men and young women who don't have that much experience with each other and who are also anxious as a consequence generally meet each other in alcohol-fueled bouts.
I mean, first of all, citation needed. I don't know. Maybe there are statistics to back it up, but like the thing is, we've literally tried the approach of let's just ban alcohol because alcohol is responsible for all these terrible social ills. So if we ban the alcohol, the social ills will be cured. We tried it. Didn't really fucking work, did it? All that happened was alcohol went underground and a bunch of criminals got rich off of it. And all of the, you know, socially deleterious things that alcohol caused were exacerbated, not cured by the prohibition of alcohol. A lot of people have asked me, hey, where do you do your live streams? And the answer to that is that I do live streams called Abandon Hope every Sunday on the Pessimist Productions Patreon. That is linked down below. There is all sorts of other stuff on that Patreon as well. It is about $7 a month, and I think that we offer a pretty generous amount of content in exchange for that membership. So if that's something that interests you, be sure to check out the Patreon link in the description section of this video.
There's a gospel statement that's very relevant to this. So Christ tells his followers that if they knock, the door will open. If they ask, they'll receive. And if they seek, they'll find. It sounds magical. It sounds like the sort of thing that the new atheists would have a field day with, but that's not a wise interpretation of that saying. The proper interpretation is something more like a recognition of the way thought works.
Oh, was there supposed to be a point to that? I mean, he's right. I wouldn't have a field day with it, I guess, because it's not really all that juicy. It's just like, ask and you shall receive, knock and I will answer, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever. It just seems like a bunch of fucking empty jargon to me, honestly. And then, you know, he's like, oh, well, that's not what it really means. What it really means is, so you see, it all adds up. No, it doesn't. Nothing you said made it make sense. It still is garbage. This is why I hate trying to refute or even talk about or to Jordan Peterson, because it's always this word salad bullshit. You know, I want to actually get into a real debate with this guy one day. I would love to actually sit across a table and talk to this motherfucker and try to hold his feet to the fire to just make him say things that make sense. Jordan, quit talking word salad. Quit yakking like, blah, blah, blah. I want to actually nail you down on some positions. I want you to tell me what you actually think and stop doing this weird mumbo jumbo so that your fanboys can read whatever they want to in it, which is basically why he does that, I think. I think that he intentionally likes to keep things vague, nebulous, and philosophical so that he never actually has to commit to a real position. And so people can read into it virtually anything they want to.
So imagine your plans didn't work out. Okay, now you sit down and you say to yourself, I'd like to know, even if the world was conspiring against me and my failure was 95% the fault of external occurrences and other people, what did I do that wasn't as good as it could have been? And where did I fail to look so that the probability of my failure was higher? To ask that question, you have to want the answer. And it's a very painful thing to do, especially if you had given it your all to the degree you were able, and you have reason to be bitter. You're going to be searching for the errors that you still made, and discovering your own errors is always extremely painful.
I don't know who cut these shorts, but they all feel like they're building up to something, and then the something that they are building up to just never happens. I don't think you can really make a short of Jordan Peterson, because even in the rare instances where he has some kind of point that he's actually making, he never actually gets to it. And if he does get to it, it takes, I don't know, like he goes on a weird 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20, 45-minute ramble before he ever arrives there. So trying to encapsulate him in a format that only allows you to go like a minute, you end up with this weird fragment of him just saying some stuff like, failure is disappointing. I mean, basically what he just said was, I tried so hard and got so far. In the end, it doesn't even matter. And that's the whole fucking thing. It's just like, yeah, that's disappointing when that happens, huh? And do you have a solution? Do you have a suggestion? Do you have like a way of dealing with that feeling? Are you offering us up anything, or you're just letting us know that failure is disappointing? Because here's the thing. Everyone already fucking knew that, buddy. Literally everyone already fucking knew that failure is disappointing. That's why it's failure.
I wasn't insulting Linkin Park. I was saying that, like, what Jordan Peterson just said in a minute of word salad, Linkin Park said in 2 lines of a fucking song. Like, whatever happened to brevity is the soul of wit, right? Because according to Jordan Peterson, long, meandering, rambling, twisting paths of gobbledygook and word salad and nonsense and vague philosophical allusions that never really cohere into anything more than just like something that like it's like he would take 25 minutes to tell you a platitude. It's agony listening to this man speak sometimes, because everything that he does is in such a roundabout way. And I think that he does it because to the people that like him, the way that he extends things out into this big production of words and verbiage and concepts, to only at the end of it, you realize that what he's saying is remarkably simple and could probably be summarized in a sentence or two. Him doing that makes it seem as though what he's saying is more intellectual than it actually is. And I just wish that we would return as a society to a place where there was a certain value placed on being concise, a certain value placed on brevity being the soul of wit, a certain value on being an effective communicator and not just saying something in such a way as to make dumb people listening to you feel smart, because that seems to be the main goal of every Jordan Peterson speech. I'm going to say something remarkably simplistic in the most convoluted, complicated way that I possibly can, so that the people listening to me feel like a fucking genius once they get it, not realizing that what they just got is remarkably simplistic and most of the time wrong.
I lectured at Harvard for a long time on Auschwitz. That's about as dark a topic as you can possibly manage. And I had a voice in the back of my mind constantly. It was dead serious lectures, right? And the voice said continually, if you were truly a master of this topic, you could deal with it with a light touch. And I thought, oh my God, really? I'm going to talk about how prison guards took delight in torturing people at Auschwitz, and I'm going to do that with a light touch? And I realized after thinking about that for a very long time, like decades really, you aren't a master of something until you can deal with a light touch, no matter how dark a subject that it is. And like, obviously, the darker the subject, the more mastery you have to have in order to make light of it.
I don't even know, like, what does that mean? I've never seen him approach anything with a light touch. Even subjects that barely matter, they seem like they're going to send him into fits of crying at any moment. Is he rationalizing Nazi jokes? I don't know what he means. I have no idea. I really don't know. I don't know what he means by light touch. I'm assuming that he means that you can like cover the subject without coming across as too weighty and important. But like, why do you even need to do that with like Auschwitz? I don't know that Auschwitz ever needs a light touch. I don't know if we ever, I mean, like, I don't know. You'd have to be basically some kind of like comedic genius or something to make Auschwitz funny. Either that or you just have to be a fucking Nazi who delights in the suffering of other human beings, which I'm not saying he's that. I don't think that he is.